Okay.
Hey everybody, this is Jason Tonioli. I'm here with Amazing Vacations USA in Costa Rica, and I have some friends with us today. I've got Walter, who's down in Costa Rica enjoying a brand new baby. Congratulations, Walter. And he's not getting a lot of sleep, so if he nods off here, we'll be okay. And we have Gerardo Murillo, and people know him as Siau, right?
Siau.
Siau.
Yeah,
So
it's better for if yeah.
everybody knows him by that name. So kind of today is going to be, we'll kind of try and keep it to 30, 45 minutes or so just to keep things interesting. But we want to share some more of the kind of original stories of Costa Rica and tourism. And Siao was there clear back, from what I understand, Siao, you were there in the 1970s, like 1976 maybe, when Michael Kane started coming down and running the river. Is that correct?
I've been I start guiding at 78,
78.
78, 80, 88, something like that.
88. Uh-huh.
87,
Okay.
something like that.
Got it. And Walter,
Hey, Jason, you
yeah.
were you were a little confused with Michael Kane. Michael Kane was a guy from US who came in '76,
Okay.
and then in '78 he found Costa Rica expeditions. And I would say maybe he will talk about that later. But he was the pioneer of the Whitewater in Costa Rica. In Siau, it's 87, 88, right? So
Yes, yes. And Michael arrived Costa Rica at 78,
Got
80.
it.
right?
Oh, sorry.
78.
What and
And he the first trip that same year he found the Costa Rica expeditions, make exploratory trip in that year. He arrived Costa Rica at August 78 and make a couple of exploration trips there around Turrialba, Reventason River, and then in the same year, in the same month, they found Costa Rica expeditions like this.
got it. What and so how did you start getting into the river? What was it that got you started with rivers?
So I remember that I was running to to Rialba outdoors into the Angostura bridge river. I was there resting, looking the river in the bridge, in the middle of the bridge. I don't know why that day I was looking into Peralta section. You know, normally it was the tiger mouth because right there start Peralta section.
Uh huh.
And I was resting there looking the river, and I hear somebody in the car, in the pickup truck. Hey, Siao, what you doing there? You wanna come with us? We go to paddle to with one customer. The guy was Roberto Fernandez. We named him Celada, and I jumped in and I helped them to paddle, and we finished there exactly underneath the bridge. And it was my first trip, and he told me, that, hey, you have skills. You wanna be a river guide? And that's the way that I started. Okay, why not? Because I was thinking, I was studying in the university in the Technology of Costa Rica. I was thinking how to pay my studies and things like that. I was thinking there in the river, and was the moment that they arrived behind me and hey, jump in. And that's it. Start like that.
And how old were you when that happened?
I can remember properly, but I think was in 87, something like that. But I can't remember properly. But it was pretty young. You know what I mean? After the high school and things like
Uh
that,
huh.
something like that.
Got it. And what do you remember during those first few years? What do you remember most? What would people think was funny or interesting during that time when you just started up?
At that time it was only few companies, few rafting companies, Costa Rica Expeditions, Rios Tropicales, and Aventura Naturales starting at that time. And it's not very common to find people in the river, and they saw the people moving to the river with raft, and what is that? But was not pretty common at that time. Very few river guides from San Jose, especially from San Jose, guys from San Jose, because they speak English.
Mm-hmm.
And locals people, we don't speak English. You know what I mean? Was pretty difficult. And Alvarito Elizondo probably speak English at that time. I don't know, but it's one of the first guys from Turrialba, Alvarito Elizondo. We called him Alvarito. It was not pretty common at that time.
Got it. And when back in those days, I mean, what were was it mostly American tourists? Was there a lot of Europeans? What was the normal tourist coming down?
No, from United States normally, all of them,
Mm-hmm.
and no Costa Ricans at all. only people from United States.
Got it.
Siau, I know a little bit about Siau. I've been next to him for a while, so he's been one of my mentors on the Whitewater. And Siau, remember you telling me about a cometa. When you talked about the cometa, they were like the head of the cometa, which was the beginning of
nucleus.
The first guys. So you want to give us some like names of who you remember? Don't worry if you're missing someone.
Okay.
So just names of the head and then
my teachers.
There we go. Yeah.
So normally we call the first guy in Costa Rica Fernando Castañeda, Osvaldo Trejos, Javier Valverde, Charlie Hunter, Rafa and Victor Gallo, and what else? Who else? I can remember probably Alejo Pacheco. Many of them, I don't know about Fernando Esquivel, but those guys, Pongo, Lars, I can remember about. We named them the comet nucleus. Is correct in English? The nucleus of the comet. The first guys in Costa Rica, and then the other guy that learned from these guys, we call the tail of the comet. In the tail of the comet, we can find Cela Sabanera. We can find Lars, Pongo, guys like those. And after those guys, we are the sparks of the comet. The guys that we start with after those guys, like Tico, like Miti, probably Victorino and Nano and other guys from San Jose that I can't remember all of them. But and after us, we started all of guys after 91, after Project RAF. It's when start everything, like explosion of the rafting of the customers in Turrialba.
Yeah, thank you for that, because there is people that they already, some of them still active. I can see Victorino on the water, of course, Siau. Rafa, I see him very often on the water. Who else? I think Large, like a couple years ago, Large, I saw him on the water. Who else is still there? I don't know, I'm not sure about Nano. I can't remember, he's looking at
Large is still there, but I don't know, no, not anymore in the river, but Large is around.
Yeah.
So.
And sorry if we're missing some of those guys' names, but if you guys are online and you want to,
sorry.
Well, and I see we've got a couple of people. It looks like John Mayer just says he got his Amazing Vacations Pura Vida T-shirt in the mail, Walter. So Pura Vida. Anyway, we got Mark Stevens, Jennifer Cordero, but I know a lot of people love to hear. What is your favorite? You've been all over the world. See, I know you've done like Canada, and Walter mentioned you've been in Cuba and Japan. I mean, gosh, what's the rafting and what's it like in Japan? How did that happen?
In Japan it's a river, but easy river, especially in the place that I've been there guiding for. And it's Nagara River, and they have normally they split the section in one in the morning and one in the afternoon with different customers, but Japanese only, no foreigners. It was pretty difficult in the beginning for me guiding the commands in Japanese or get inside the boat. I write everything in waterproof paper with like the scuba diving, that they write there underneath the water. I put the commands there in front of the thwart in the raft guiding. Hidari Uchiro Migi Mai. That means let's back right forward. Migi Uchiro Migi Mai. Or get down. Chagande, escamate. Hold on yourself. Paddle hard. Gambate. Michael Kitibase, was pretty difficult in the beginning because I write everything there in papers. That's in the middle of the season. Big wave is get inside the raft and wash out the papers and start guiding without notes. It was pretty funny.
I mean, I can imagine sometimes we are doing a rapid especially when we're starting, and then you are in front of this big rapid, and then you cannot talk. You're looking at, you cannot say anything. You're supposed to say get down or something. You are like,
yeah. Rock side commands was another.
In Japanese. Oh my gosh.
Yes. In Japanese it was pretty funny. I've been there for 3 rafting seasons.
Okay.
Guiding fun. And the season start when they start planting the rice. The season finish when the rice harvest start. It's pretty funny. You see all the rice evolution, the fields and around the houses, and it's very beautiful.
Where you've been around a long time, I'm curious. What's your perspective, or what do you think is going to happen with the tourism in Costa Rica once things open back up? You've kind of seen some ups and downs over the years. What do you envision is going to happen in Costa Rica tourism in the next 6 to 12 months now?
I don't know. It's going to be pretty difficult to talk about it because for me, when the how do you say vaccine? When the vaccination, the vaccination is going to be complete. We need a vaccination everywhere. I mean, outside Costa Rica, inside Costa Rica, people flying in the planes. When that happens, probably we're going to start over. You know what I mean? Probably not too many people, but it's exactly the key for start over. When the vaccination is against COVID-19, ready for all of us, for all the people, ready. For all the customers. Yes. I know that companies can be ready for start, but I'm talking about how the people is gonna think about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so now you're talking about this very situation. I want you to let people know what are you doing right now, because you're an example. I mean, even for me, man, I know what are you doing right now. So tell us, what are you doing?
Talking with you. No. I study. I don't know in English the manejo es manejo de recursos naturales en la UNED. Es management natural resources. I don't know if you say that in English, but probably in 1 more year I'm gonna finish the university and gonna be ready to guide around Costa Rica, and it's pretty funny because everything is online and now all people is trying to connect online.
No, and besides his university career right now, he's also doing the license from the INA, which is every single guy right now. We need to do the license to be a whitewater guide.
Yes. For whitewater, we need another type of license, and for general guide, we need another one, and for naturalist guide, another one. I almost finished the guiding license. I have it already, and for the general guide, I need 1 more course for finish my license.
Cool. Well, Siau, I've got a question. So I know a lot of people enjoy hearing kind of the funny river stories. So what's a couple of the kind of the funniest experiences with, whether it's with clients or just from times on the river, that you've had?
What do you mean funny?
Chistoso.
Be careful.
Or I guess times as a guide, you're just shaking your head. I mean, I'm sure you've had some crazy clients, or you've had some times where I don't know. What's some of the funny things or or good stories you tell people that were river people?
That my first trip in Pacuare River, my guy was a good friend of me, Lopez, Francisco Lopez.
Uh-huh.
He is not a guide anymore. He died about a year and a half, something like that, and quit to England. He lived in England. And when we get a swimmer there in Cimarrones Rapid, and when we rescue the passengers, he made number 2 in the pants. It was the first. That's the most funny story that I can tell you about it. But it's funny, But, especially the crazy adventures, for sure. We have a lot of memories about that.
Qué bueno. Ma'am, Siao, I know you have 3 of your top trips that you did. Just tell us about those trips, because even for me, I knew one of them, but the other 2 were super interesting, and I'm sure many of us as guys were interested to hear about them. Which are those three top trips that you did?
I mean, special trips.
Sí.
Normally the best trips that I made in Costa Rica was, I think I sent the pictures to you.
Uh-huh.
The millionaires trips. 4 helicopters arrived to the Pacuare River with all the customers. Right here was Michael K. and Rodrigo Carazo, ex-president of Costa Rica. I got them that day, and I was talking with President Carazo, and he told me that day. I think that trip, I can remember exactly the year, the day, because I have no records about it, but I have the pictures. 4 helicopters with customers. Mr. President, Mr. Rodrigo Carazo told me that it's not pretty common to see particulars helicopters. Probably Army helicopters is very common to see a lot, but with customers like that was a special trip there. That is one of the biggest trips that we made. Right here is another picture. Is Michael K here. And then I put where I have my finger there. Michael K is there. In front of Michael K is ex-president Carazo. Mm-hmm. Was a special trip, very famous. In that day, we served Dom Perignon and everything there. It's a chef and 2 orders with a lunch, lobster, everything that you can imagine was behind us. You can see probably the guys there with Dom Perignon. It's about 23, 22 customers. Wow. In a special trip. But was one of the best trips that I made with Costa Rica expeditions. And the other one, I'm gonna this. You can see a couple customers there in the motorboat. You can see it properly. After Somoza Jr. leave the power in Nicaragua, we made I prepared all the stuff for the kitchen place, for the camping, for everything. No food, all the stuff I prepared it. I sent it by planes to Tortuguero. And that trip was from Tortuguero to Nicaragua Lake. And this group was the first group, the American people, from U.S., that the first trip with customers from U.S. after Somoza leave the power. And after Somoza, probably Ortega and other presidents, they get the power there. But after Somoza, this group was the first group after Somoza Jr. leave the power. And I'm going to show you, probably we use 5 boats. This is San Juan River. You can see all the caravan there. Uh-huh. I was in the first boat with Tornillo. This is Tornillo. I can remember only the nickname Tornillo because we passed there Los Raudales. They were talking about Los Raudales. Los Raudales. I had no idea what that means. Raudales. What Raudales means. And Raudales means rapids.
Whoa.
And only Tornillo here, he knows the lane because he needs to dip the motor in the water and avoid all the rocks and pass the rapid. That's what is they contract that guy and was with Tornillo there. And you can see the rest of the crew here with all the stuff. You can see a lot of boxes and stuff. And there, Michael probably is there in that boat with Brown. I can remember Brown was a fisherman there. He was in charge of the Tortuga Lodge. It's a hotel that is still there. The Tortuga Lodge in Tortuguero belongs Costa Rica Expeditions. It was the best trips, in this kind of special situation that I made for Costa Rica. For sure, we paddled in General River in 3 days, 4 days trips or whatever, but these were iconic trips.
So now that you're talking about Costa Rica expeditions and you talk also about Michael Kane, so you want to give us a little bit more about who's him, who was Michael in Costa Rica expeditions, because this is a super important part as a guide to know.
Yes, Michael. Michael. We call him El Patron. El Patron. I think before he arrived Costa Rica, he was in Puerto La Libertad in El Salvador. El Salvador. I don't know the Libertad port is in San Salvador, but it's in El Salvador. He was with la patrona, Doña Yolanda. They lived together. Michael was a surfer guy. He was surfing there in El Salvador. And one day he told Mr. Yolanda that let's go to Costa Rica. They asked Mr. Yolanda at 4 o'clock in the morning. I know that story because I told with them, talking about those stories. At 4 o'clock, at 11 o'clock in the morning, the same day, they were here in Costa Rica. And the second day, they get the very famous, at that time, jungle train to Puerto Viejo. And there is a special place in the Reventazón River that we call Piedras de Fuego. Sorry, because my English is not very good. But was a place there, a big curve in the road race that we call Piedras de Fuego. It was a crazy curve, and underneath was Reventazón River, the Orlando Rapid. And Michael was in the summer times. He was working in California as a guide in Coloma.
Okay.
He has a company at that time, 50%. Okay. But back into the jungle train, Michael saw the Reventazón River there, and he said, "Okay, we got it. This river is gonna make us eat for all the rest of the life." And they were to Puerto Viejo, back to San Jose, fly over to the U.S., get that 50% of the company back for Yolanda in El Salvador, and crash into Realba and start making that's the exploratory trips around Reventazón River. And that's the way that start the rafting in the wilderness in Costa Rica.
Interesting. Thank you for that, man. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
Siau, I'm curious to know what was one of your worst, or I guess the most memorable swims that you've ever had with on a trip.
For myself, or
with anybody that you were with. So just, I guess, what's one of the stories of most memorable?
With expeditions also at Pacuare River, Michael make a tour with a Hollywood star. I can't remember who was it there, but we bring cameras and lamps and everything, and good food and customers from the newspapers from Costa Rica. It was one of those trips that Michael normally they love to make, And the night, the second day, the river get out of control. The water the river started getting over and over and over and over and over and on and on and on, and we canceled the trip for customers. But at that time, we were 3 oarboats. Me in one oarboat, Javier Valverde in the other one, and Alvarito Elizondo with the Hollywood boat, all the cameras, lamps, and everything. And Tom Nossinger, rest in peace, Tom Nossinger. Javier Valverde, rest in peace already, in kayak. When we when we made the curve into Rios Tropicales, all the creeks, you can see the rivers getting out control, and you can imagine how was that, okay? But when we get Upper Huacas, I think, Walter, I don't know, I don't have pictures of Upper Huacas, but I have the Disneyland rock, okay? Okay, when we get Upper Huacas, I saw the waterfall of Upper Huacas, but we hit chocolate balls getting the river, but huge waterfall, and we've been about probably 5 meters above the normal water level, something like that. I saw a flat water like this into the waterfall, all the no rocks there, no waterfall, nothing, just water like that. And the waterfall at the end in a huge drop in front of the waterfall. That's it. I was first, and I was under control at that time. And I was paddling to the left side, and I get the left side exactly there in the mountain there with all the water was like this. But Alvarito was like this. He was in the center, no choice. He was directly to the drop in front of the waterfall.
With all the
first time with all the Hollywood stuff, all the cameras, the expensive boat, and he was the first ender that I made. That I saw making an oarboat was like this, and when he disappeared in the hole, and 3 seconds later, he was expulsed from the drop like this into the air and coming like this.
Wow!
And at that time, I was under control. But when I passed that, I tried to get my rope to catch Alvarito, but it was no time. Next rapid is Lower Huacas. And there's stone walls on both sides like this, but complete water. It's a water stone wall, no rocks, only water. And my hair started exploding like this. Okay, Mama, I say, Mommy, what I gonna do? And the boat take the center of the current, and I push the boat in the center, and I passed the waves, but the huge waves, incredible waves, and we take the Hollywood boat with Javier Valverde. When we pass this rock, you can see this rock.
Uh-huh.
The water was over that rock. We call Disneyland rock. After that rapids, 400 meters after this rock, it was complete underneath the water. There is a campsite there, Manuel campsite, and we get the boat there, Javier Valverde, me and Tom Nossinger with the Hollywood boat, and Alvarito was there somewhere behind us. It's another story. That's one of the crazy. I can remember the day this trip was in 1993. I remember properly because was the day before I get married. I'm divorced already, but I remember for that. The day before I get married.
So what did the Hollywood people? So the Hollywood people were with you guys then on the boats?
We keep the secret. No, they get a Mitty was there, Tico and other guy. They back over walking. Only the orbits we take the control. I think there is a video when we go there to the river and they back with Michael and the rest of the people. They walking away over for Bajo de Tigre. They live.
Yeah, so that's another one that I would like to you to tell us about. And right now, we drive all the way down to the river. We drive to the lodge. We don't carry the coolers. We don't do anything because everything goes in. How was that? How was that back in years?
Like this.
There you go.
Can see Jason?
Yep, we got it. I just put it up on Facebook. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So just
Yes, we
tents.
need to. Yes, we need to pull the tents. We need to carry the tar. How to do it? You can see that normally this is a small. It's more to these years, but a long time ago we put two tarps together, especially in General River there in the Pacific side.
Uh-huh.
Normally we need to carry everything. I mean, the water, ice, lamps, everything, the kitchen, the food, everything in coolers. It was a complete different. And when I start, normally we use a bucket boats, bailing boats. We must use a bucket to evacuate the water. No food cups, no inflatable boats. I mean floors, yes, with floors, and no helmets also. When I started, the history was like that: no helmet, no food cups, and buckets everywhere. That's pretty difficult, especially in the orbit. Actually, the first guy that I saw after Lower Huacas in making orbit was Osvaldo Trejos. And when I saw Osvaldo Trejos there after Lower Huacas, taking water away, and I tell to myself, I wanna to learn to do that. Yeah. It's I love to row with oars in the river.
I'm curious. So if you're studying a little bit about the natural resources, you were around a little bit, I guess, when the Reventazon River was running, and then after you've seen that when it was dammed up. Do you feel like there's any chance ever in the future that Costa Rica would choose to fix the Reventazon River and have it be runnable again for rafting trips, for tourism?
I think that's interesting because I think that the dams they losing power because the sun power is going to be the future. I think probably one day the rafting is going to start again because Cachir Dam, Cachir Reservoir is very old. It's from the 40s or something like that, and probably the rafting that can be a option for my town, Turrialba, because now the rafting is away from Turrialba town. Downtown is in Siquirres, take out the Pacuare River, and the customer just pass Turrialba, just pass Siquirres, and they back to San Jose. But at that time when we have Reventazon River, I mean that's the Tucurique section, the class 3 section. We have a lot of customers, and many of them they crash into Turrialba because they probably pass overnight here because they pay for 2-3 days, and they crash into Turrialba in the hotels. They use the restaurants, and that's the other day they go to Pacuare River, the powerhouse section, Pascua section, and they back to Turrialba, and then they move to San Jose. But in this moment, Turrialba is pretty difficult to get people to crash here in Turrialba, especially only if you get a 5-day trips, 4-day trips, 10-day trips around the country, and you get the customers in Turrialba for 2-3 days, and so something like that. Probably few companies can do that. But for 1-day trip, not anymore. I think we must destroy that kind of reservoirs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The dams is probably we need to use another kind of energy. Like the solar energy can be the future of that also.
Right.
With the tourism.
Well, it looks like Arnaldo, you're joining us from the river. I just added you into the feed here. Do you have any questions or anything that Siau should be sharing with us that would be fun to hear? Or maybe you can't hear us.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Oh.
I can hear you. Hi, everyone. No, I think this way. Where is it? Siau is a legend, part of the history of the sport in Costa Rica, for sure. As many more guys, and I'm really happy to hear, like the stories that Siau shared with us and how, the sport is being developed in the country and being part of it is really nice. So it's really nice that you guys invite Siau to chat a little bit, today. I'm right now, just to introduce, I'm right now in the Pejivalle River. Good flow, perfect to go for a swim.
Yeah. Enjoyed it. Very nice. Part 11.
Looks like it's good.
I came with my kids. We're gonna just float down with a sub, with a stand-up paddleboard, few rapids, just to hang out.
Awesome. Well, Siau, one other question. Just thinking about the future of the rivers and the dams. I mean, you've been around a long time. What do you feel like would be the process in order for those older dams to be even considered to tear them down? I mean, is there anything happening today to help make that happen, or is there people that need to get involved, or is there things that we can do from the United States with the river people up here to help open up those other rivers someday?
Okay. My concern about that is the government of Costa Rica, because they need to free the solar energy for to be access for all the rest of the people. When that happens, I think they're not gonna think about dams. But just as example, the Cachi Reservoir, because it's the oldest that we have in the area. When they made Angostura Reservoir, we have no idea that they're gonna do that. I've been there in that moment, but we have no idea that they're gonna do that. When they call us to say something, I mean the government, is because we're gonna start making the process in 2 more months, something like that. Was for that, but nothing happens, so we can do nothing about it. But in Pacuare River, when they try to make the reservoir in Pacuare River, the people start making something to stop that, and we did something, but now that I think government of Costa Rica is not thinking anymore in making reservoirs. But the customers, that can be pretty difficult. The vaccination against COVID-19 is going to be the key for start everything again. I don't know if that answered your question, but
yeah,
it's pretty difficult.
Well, awesome. Well, Walter, is there any other question? I know we're about out of time here. Is there any other questions we should ask?
Well, actually, I know you have many things to talk, but what else would you like to share with us? There's tons of things, but I remember you talking about the Camel and Project R.I.P, and then you were part of the first team that started on that. Who were with you? What happened?
I started in rafting competitions in '91, and Rafa chose me because Rafa was the president of the committee, the organization there, and Rafa Gallo. He chose me, and we represent Costa Rica in 1991. At that time, all the people in Turrialba start paying attention to rafting for raft for operation, and a lot of people coming from all the world, from Russia, from United States, from France, from England, many countries. In 1991 at Project R.I.P. And I think the rafting bump started there with Project R.I.P. And Saba, you make an interview to Saba, was the captain. We were 5 guys and 1 girl, Hilda Montenegro, Chino Randall, sorry for the name, Chino Randall, Raúl Esteban, Giovanni, Garel, and myself. We represent Costa Rica at that time. After that, rafting started moving over. A lot of people every day into Rialba restaurants. Even the kayakers, the best kayakers of the world, the national teams, they come into Turrialba to training in Angostura because it's a natural slalom course, right, Analdo? It's a special course above the bridge. And the government of Costa Rica, when they build the dam, they don't think about it. Just they put a concrete block and that's it. No more water there. This was one of the problems that we have with the government. They don't think in tourism. They only think in money. But now I think that solar energy is going to change all those, how do you say that? All those ideas.
The ideas. Well, I think hopefully the geothermal power as well is something that, if that's a cleaner energy as well. And you guys have so many volcanoes and, that I would think that would be better than damming up a river and completely ruining the water. I know.
Siau.
Go ahead.
Y dice don Rafa que también Ricardo Romero estaba ahí, Machito Romero, por ahí.
No, not in Project RAF, in Camel.
Camel.
Okay. In 98, in 91 is different. Crew.
Okay.
In 88, sorry, it's because I don't tell Jason about it. In 91, I represent Costa Rica. I was the captain that time.
Okay.
And in the Camel, in 98, we get Ricardo Romero, we get Carazo, Alejandro Carazo, we get Alex and Carlos Segura, Chalo, and myself. 6.
Bárbaro. Qué equipo, ¿ah?
Yeah.
Rafa says, tiene razón.
Rafa was again the organization, the committee, the president. Say hi to Rafa. We pray for him.
Saludos a Rafa.
It's another champion, Rafa. He is in the nucleus, the Comet nucleus, guys. He started in the beginning, the stuff. Rafa has a good history, and Rafa was the president of the Camel Committee for Costa Rica there, and he made also a good organization there for Costa Ricans, especially for people from Turrialba.
Sí, de hecho, ahora que hablas de eso, sorry, now you're talking about that. Rafa is going to be our next caballero. So we know he's looking at you. Siau, we were talking about that already. So Rafa's going to be our next. And then, Rafa, get ready. We got many questions for you. We got the Camel. We got, Project RAF. We got the IRF, the International Rafting Federation. He knows everything about that. So he's part of the nucleus, as Siau said. So, get ready. We can, would say Gaby Vargas that is online. Or people that are looking at you, Gaby. Ahí está Gaby en línea. También estaba por ahí, vimos a Cuadrado. ¿Qué más está por ahí? Dali.
Dali.
Sí,
But the thing I love about this is it does feel like a big family, and I know, at least from all of our people here in the United States, Siau and Ronaldo and Walter, we want to come back down as quick as we can. I really hope this is something that people up here enjoy, and it just reminds them about how amazing the rivers are. And we want people, I know I'm getting calls, and we've got people reaching out, just so you guys know, and all those, I guess, in Costa Rica, they're hearing this. People are planning to travel, and as soon as the border opens up, there will be people coming down. I think it'll be a little bit slower than normal, but we have people that are saying, as soon as I can go, I want to come down to Costa Rica. So you have lots of people here who are wanting to support and get the economy going again down there. So and the good news is even with all the media reports, I have several doctor friends that I go directly to. The media reports that you hear, unfortunately, aren't always what you're hearing in the real story from the hospitals. So I know Utah's been one of those that we did a really good job, and I know we've had a lot more cases, but the good news is the hospital, there's plenty of hospital beds, and really the amount of cases. Yes, there's situations where people have gotten, where it goes bad, but that's going to happen with any disease. But I think in general, it's not near as bad as what the media wants everybody to believe. So hopefully the governments will use data and have, good reasoning and not overreact a lot of times. Like it seems like, I think in some cases we've overreacted too much, and I think just let data drive the decisions, hopefully, and be reasonable.
We're ready. We're ready here we're waiting for every single person who want to join us in Whitewater, adventure, whatever. So Costa Rica is getting ready for it, and then as soon as they open the border, I'm sure that it's going to change.
Right, and I'm certain. I mean, I know for me, just in watching what Walter's done and what I know the other companies down there are doing is, there will be masks and there'll be lots of protocols and hand sanitizer, and I know you guys down there will do everything you can to keep people safe and not spread the virus. So I think Costa Rica is one of those that will definitely be ready as soon as the flights are allowed to come back in. So. Awesome. Well, I know we're about out of time, Siau. I think it'd be really fun to hear some more stories on another call. I try to keep these short enough that if anybody's going to watch these, that if they make it 45 minutes, then we'll come back on another one. But let's make a list of some of the best stories, and we'll definitely do this again. And Arnaldo, it looks like you're going to go have a lot more fun than we are down at the play park. Just a little. Awesome. Well, thank you. We'll appreciate everybody watching, and definitely get yourself down to Costa Rica. I think the border is going to be opening up soon, so we'd love to have you come and make that happen. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Buena vida. Ciao.
Stay safe.